In our last Scariest Ocean Photos video, we convinced everyone that deep down inside, the ocean can get kinda creepy. If you're still not afraid of the ocean after that video, be sure to watch this one. From sea creatures you didn't know couldn't fly to some of the creepiest underwater shipwrecks found across the globe. Today we're gonna take a look at the Scariest Ocean Photos, Part 2.
Hey guys, this is American Eye today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy that video.
Number 20. The Sea Salp. This strange creature moves by pumping water through its body, and it filters out the plankton or small sea creatures that go through it. Salp propulsion is one of the most effective in the animal kingdom, and it moves quite easily. Sometimes when there's too much plankton, the salp will become too heavy and sit at the bottom of the sea. That's why you gotta watch how much you eat, especially if you're a sea salp. Number 19. Sulphuric Vents. This vent here spits out boiling hot sulfuric acid that would literally turn you into a skeleton in a matter of seconds. And there's actually tiny organisms that live in those vents as well. They're known as hydrothermal worms, and they're incredibly creepy if you take a look at them through a microscope. Number 18. Blanket Octopus. Also known as the Tremo octopus, the males are extremely small in comparison to the females. The males are only about 2.4 centimeters, whereas the females measure about 2.2 meters. Would you rather die a mate or live the rest of your life a virgin? The male blanket octopus has to ask himself this question since it dies shortly after reproducing. Its reproductive organs detach, causing the female to fertilize her eggs. Once pregnant, the female can carry up to 100,000 eggs at a time, creating more creepy blanket octopi. Number 17. Gas masks from the past. Large bodies of water are often sought after by enemy armies who are hungry for power. When their large vessels get sunk to the bottom, the things inside get scattered all over the place. This photo here shows two gas masks found on the Nipu Maru, which are perched in the front of the ship. Number 16. Queen Anne's Revenge. The Queen Anne's Revenge was discovered on a sandbar near Beaufort, North Carolina, and is possibly the best pirate ship discovery of all time. Blackbeard and his crew terrorized anyone they came into contact with and plundered many ships and villages in the early 1700s. This was a former slave ship used by the French to help colonize the Caribbean. Blackbeard struck fear into the hearts of many with this gruesome flag. Number 15. Underwater Taekwondo. If you want to be a true Taekwondo master, you better learn to do it the proper way and put on some scuba diver gear. Anyways, they say there's a good reason to do this, and it improves your reflexes when you're not underwater. We hope no fish were harmed in the making of this photo. Number 14. Pirate Shipwreck, Tonga. Shipwreck near the Pacific country of Tonga was discovered in 2012, and underwater archaeologists believe it could possibly be the ruins of the famous pirate vessel known as the Port-au-Prince. This ship was originally French, but it was captured by the British and made into a pirate boat, looting boats belonging to rival countries such as Spain and France. Here in this photo, we see a daring scuba diver taking a close look at a large piece of metal, possibly an anchor. Number 13. The Dolphin Bird. This unidentified creature washed up along the shore of Russia's Far East with the body of a dolphin, but a beak like a bird. Don't forget about the furry skin either. This mutant animal is about twice the size of a human, but much of it was gone after some predators got a hold of it. Some people theorize that it was a carcass of a giant beaked whale. The characteristics of the skin is what's truly puzzling scientists, and no one had an idea that this might be living in their oceans. Dolphins simply don't have fur, so what could it possibly be? Number 12. Schoop Lagoon Tank. There are more than 60 Japanese warships and 200 aircraft that met their watery grave in Schoop Lagoon in South Pacific. This is located west of Micronesia, where an intense battle took place. It was also one of Japan's strategic bases that was basically wiped out by Allied forces. On land, this place looks like a tropical paradise, but below the surface of the water lies the biggest graveyard of ships in the world. Here in this photo, we see a tank covered in barnacles at the bottom of the lagoon. Number 11. The Schoop Lagoon Skull. You might have read about some moments in history in books and whatnot, but swimming through Schoop Lagoon will give you an eerie sense of reality about the nature of war. Parts of vehicles aren't the only thing you'll find at Schoop Lagoon. For those who perished during the battle here, they make their underwater resting place for eternity. This scuba diver came across a remarkable preserved skull, and you can get a true sense of the grim history of this place by looking at the bones that were left here. The real Jaws. We're sure you're familiar with the movie Jaws, and you couldn't possibly imagine what it would be like if your life were at risk due to a massive shark. Well, lucky for you, this time, we're just going to show you what it would look like on the set of this legendary suspense film. Steven Spielberg wanted this movie to be as realistic as possible, and if you thought this thing in the water was real, guess what? They gave the mechanical shark a nickname of Bruce, and hopefully, no one will let loose of any robot sharks around here. Number 10. The Flying Manta Ray. Manta rays are beautiful creatures under the water, but can they soar up in the sky as high as 3 meters? The answer is yes. However, the Mobula ray looks like it should be leaving the flying to the professionals. They seem to belly flop each time they land, and the impact sends a big splash into the air. The rays attempt to go as high as possible with their stubby little wings. It's believed that the louder and the higher they splash, the more likely the males can attract a mate. It's not the only time a man has done something stupid to impress a girl. At some points, though, it does begin to look like it's self-destructive. Number 9. A whale of a problem. This group of people in Alaska look like they're having an animal encounter that they'll never forget. A few humpback whales pop out from the water near this fishing boat, which could have possibly flipped them over. Number 8. Christ of the Abyss. The Christ of the Abyss statue almost looks like it was meant to belong underwater. Located at the Pennicamp Coral Reef State Park, which is the only underwater state park in the country, this mysterious statue has intrigued many scuba divers, especially those who don't understand the whole story. Decades ago, it was created by an Italian sculptor, Guido Galletti. And you can see here, with Jesus raising his arms towards the sky, that it looks pretty cool. Guido Galletti heard news of a local scuba diver meeting his end in a scuba diving accident off the coast of the Italian Riviera. He wanted the statue to be submerged at the location where the diver met his end. The one we see in this photo is just the US replica statue. Number 7. The USS Arizona. Many people come to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii to pay homage to the Navy seamen who lost their lives on December 7, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. The Japanese attacked one of the largest naval bases in the world, and at that time, 181 Japanese planes sunk all but 3 ships. This leaves a pretty massive wreckage site at the bottom of Pearl Harbor, and one of the ships that were sunk is known as the USS Arizona. A memorial has been placed on top of it like you see here. It's believed that there is roughly 1,000 seamen still entombed inside. Number 6. Stargazer. With eyes like that sticking out of the water, this is definitely something you don't want to walk on top of. These fish bury themselves into the sand and jump up to capture their prey when it swims by. The sand camouflages them and makes unsuspecting fish their lunch. In case that wasn't enough, this thing can also deliver a lethal electric shock. Number 5. Sarcastic Fringehead. This fish poses no harm to humans whatsoever, unless they get easily offended by sarcasm. So what makes this thing look strange to most people is the fish's defense mechanism. The strange-looking thing actually scares off predators by opening its large, colorful mouth. When two territorial sarcastic fringehead meet, they sort of fight with their mouths almost like they're kissing. They grow up to be about a foot long and live at the bottom of the Western Pacific, going about 240 feet deep. Number 4. The Black Swallower. Imagine being able to eat a cheeseburger that was bigger than your own body size in one bite. This fish can swallow another fish that is larger than itself and looks like it has some type of Siamese twin attached to it. The species of fish can be found mostly in the northern Atlantic, but also off the coast of Washington and Oregon. The jaws are very flexible and it consumes prey quite miraculously. It's believed that this fish catches its prey from behind. There was even a case where this fish swallowed another fish that was 4.5 times its own length. Unimaginable. Number 3. The Ultimate Challenge. Could you manage to swim past these sharks without getting eaten? Scuba diving in shark-infested water can certainly be a risky job, but dedicated researchers and marine biologists put their lives on the line in order to get some up-close and personal footage of these animals. One wrong move and they could become castaways at the sea, or someone's lunch. Number 2. Stuck in the cage. This species of shark is most likely the most feared due to the amount of sheer damage they're capable of inflicting on people and other animals. This photo here was captured off the coast of Guadalupe Island in Mexico. A dramatic scene took place when a great white shark entered the diving cage with a diver still in it. Miraculously, the diver still survives and wasn't eaten. Imagine that will certainly be an event that the diver won't forget soon. And number 1. The Sea Angel. What better way to hide from predators than being practically see-through? The sea angels hover around in freezing waters of the Arctic Ocean. They're basically swimming sea slugs, and they appear to be tiny little angels. Their bodies are almost completely transparent and only reach the size of a few inches. They mainly eat sea butterflies and feed only on other tiny little sea creatures.